Yes, RCB has points on the board. RCB has its first win, and I am absolutely ecstatic. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Willow and Leather, your new favorite cricket fan channel. This is Shravan. Thank you so much for watching this and supporting the channel. Over the last week or so, I've had like a lot of support from all of you watching these videos, and really appreciate everyone's support through this endeavor. RCB is here. It's arrived, and I'm very happy that they've picked up their first points. Royal Challengers Bengaluru, in their attempt to make their home crowd or home ground of Bengaluru as their fortress. They're off to a good start, and it was an absolutely fantastic, exciting match to kick things off at Chinnaswamy. We'll just do a quick deep dive into the game as well, but very quickly, man of the match, our king himself, Virat Kohli, coming out all guns blazing, but we'll get to that in a bit as well. But headlines, Kohli and Karthik taking RCB over the finish line. Okay, digging into the game a little bit more, RCB winning the toss again, so it looks like the fortunes are a little bit in Faf du Plessis' favor this season, winning both his tosses in the first couple of games, but this time around deciding to chase, which I think is an excellent decision at a ground like RCB, and given our strength as a batting unit, I think it makes a lot of sense to be chasing targets down. I think the team was kind of pretty much unchanged, or at least that's what I thought based on what Faf mentioned at the toss, but there was one sneaky change in there. Even with us batting, or even with us bowling first, Karan Sharma was actually not part of the playing 11, and he was listed amongst the impact players. So we pretty much went in with the same 11 that we went in with while batting first in the previous game. So that was very interesting. So I was kind of sitting there and scratching my head thinking, why is Karan Sharma not a part of this lineup today, right? And then I figured, we'll see how things are going. But I kind of had a sense of what RCB was trying to do there. So we'll get more into that later. But that was, I think, the first and biggest surprise for me with respect to the roster itself. I think overall, bowling first, I think we did an excellent job restricting Punjab Kings to 173. Brilliant opening spell from Yash Dayal, bowling 3 overs in the power play, and he was exceptional both with his line and length, hitting the back of the length test match length very regularly in those 3 overs, and causing a little bit of trouble for the batsman. Didn't really pick up a wicket in those first 3 overs, but I thought he bowled absolutely brilliantly. I think he went for like close to 10 runs, I think it was, in the first 3 overs of his spell, which was fantastic. Siraj on the other side did leak a few boundaries, but did come back with a crucial breakthrough of Johnny Bairstow. So that was really great to see him kind of getting into the wickets column as well. I think overall it was a pretty solid start. In between, I think Punjab tried to wrestle a little bit of momentum away, but I think our spinners kept things a little bit quiet, along with Cameron Green. I think Cameron Green is a very handy bowler with respect to coming in and hitting the deck and bowling a couple of crucial overs for us in the middle, and I think that will be his mode of operation all through the rest of the season as well. Credit to Mayank Dagar for bowling 2 or 3, I think it was 3 overs that he bowled, some very crucial overs in between. Yes, he did get hit for a few runs, but that's kind of expected when you're bowling at Chinnaswamy, especially as a spinner. But I think overall he did his bit of kind of trying to not let the game run too far away from him or from the team, and try to keep things under control. So that was good to see. Very handy with the bat ball this time was Glenn Maxwell. So Maxi ended up picking up 2 very key wickets for us. He did leak a few runs again. At Chinnaswamy, I think all the bowlers do get a little bit of leeway when it comes to their economy. As long as they are able to pick up some key wickets in between, I think that's all you can expect from especially a slower bowler on those kinds of surfaces. Maxi, I thought, did brilliantly well, and I'm sure Faf and the rest of the RCB leadership team will be banking on him to deliver 2 or 3 overs consistently for the rest of the season as well. So it's nice to kind of see him contributing and picking up wickets as well. So that was really great to see. But all in all, I think we bowled exceptionally well, especially in the death overs. I think the last 4 or 5 overs, the likes of Siraj and Dayal coming back and hitting the hard lengths again. And again, just goes back to what I had mentioned in my previous video. In case you haven't watched it, please do go check it out. The significance of this 2 bouncers per over rule that they have this time around in the IPL, I think it's going to be an extremely valuable, weapon in fast bowlers' arsenal. And I think this is going to be heavily used for the rest of the season as well. And I think batsmen need to be a little bit better prepared and better equipped to handle these short balls, which is probably not something they've had to do for several years now. But just having that luxury of 2 bouncers per over kind of gives the bowlers a little bit of an edge to even the playing field, sort of, and keep the batsmen guessing. And guys like Siraj and Dayal used that short ball exceptionally well. So did Alzari Joseph, and I think he bowled pretty well during the middle overs as well. But right in the very last over, Shashank Singh got like a few crucial boundaries away off of Joseph's bowling, and I think that really pushed the target up from a low 160s to a low 170 kind of a total. So I think we gave away probably 10 extra runs in that last over. But having said that, at the beginning of the innings, if we would have asked the RCB captain how much he would have thought was an average score, I'm pretty sure he would have said it was well above the 175 mark. So it was nice. I think we kept the team to a below par score. From the Punjab Kings batting standpoint, not a whole lot to write home about, but I think Shikhar Dhawan played a handy knock, kind of steering the team through, but again, not really accelerating significantly, and kind of just going at around 130s or whatever the strike rate was. But I think right after the power play, between the 6th to 12th, 13th over, I felt like they kind of didn't really have that momentum in the middle overs, and I think that really allowed RCB to sneak back into the game. And all credit to some really disciplined bowling in between and squeezing out a couple of tight overs there. So that was really good. But yeah, we saw hints of what Livingston and Sam Curran were able to do last time around, but again, neither of them sticking around for too long. Livingston again falling prey to a short pitch delivery. Jitesh Sharma, he played a pretty handy role as well, but again, he couldn't hang around till the end to really capitalize. But all in all, a fantastic bowling effort, and I think the team will be exceptionally happy with the way the bowlers performed today. It turns out we did not really have to rely on having an orthodox leg spinner like Karan Sharma in the team. Work today. Remains to be seen if it will work regularly through the rest of the season as well. But I think bowling wise, I think there should be no complaints overall. Right, so then it came down to the batting, and as I mentioned earlier, King Kohli just came out all guns blazing. Absolutely happy to see his approach to batting this time around, and I think the more the other top order batsmen stay around him in this RCB batting lineup, I think the more freedom with which he can bat this time around, and I think it's a very conscious decision that him and the management team have probably made this time for him to be the aggressor at the top of the innings and really take the attack to the bowlers. And there is always a lot of discussion around Kohli's strike rate and how he approaches games, etc. But I think everyone should know the class and the quality of the batsman, and I don't think anyone should be doubting his ability to accelerate at any point in the innings. I think at different situations, based on what the conditions are and what the situation looks like, he might have to vary the pace of his innings and just the approach of the other batsmen in the team and what the team requires of him. I think time and again he's probably had to take his batting speed down by a gear or two just to kind of provide that stability to the batting order. But I think this time around they've made that conscious decision to kind of really unleash him at the top and then see how he can dominate the bowling attacks right up front. So that's absolutely very heartening to see. On the not so heartening side, all our overseas batsmen underperforming today. Faf du Plessis, Cameron Green, Glenn Maxwell, all of them getting out for the score of 3, which is kind of ironic. But Yeah, not at all a great outing for our overseas stars. Alzari Joseph being the fourth overseas player, again, a decent outing. He did pick up his first wicket in RCB colours, so that was great. But again, at the death there, proving to be very expensive in that last over. But the batsman definitely had a major off day. Faf du Plessis again, he got off to a good start last game, but not able to keep that momentum going this time around. Cameron Green, unfortunate to get out again, trying to play an across shot for a ball that was probably fifth or sixth stump outside off. So I think he'll want to go back and see how he can kind of look for better shot selection. I think his shot selection in both the games has been questionable. And Glenn Maxwell, again, this is where sometimes as a fan I get very frustrated with the way Maxwell approaches the game. He's seeing what someone like a Harpreet Brar is doing in the game, and he's actually been outfoxed by Harpreet Brar multiple times in the past as well, and this kind of a slow left arm orthodox spinner has troubled Maxwell multiple times in the past. You've seen Maxwell's record against someone like Ravindra Jadeja in CSK as well. So it's very frustrating sometimes as a fan to see how he's approaching his batting, especially against bowlers like this. And sure, things can turn out very differently if he gets that one shot away for a boundary. But I think he needs to probably, put his hand up and take more responsibility at times. And I understand as a player, I think Maxwell is at his lethal best when he's flourishing and just freely playing without really worrying too much about the other situation around him. But as a part of a team, as a part of a core batting unit, I think you still need to take a little bit extra responsibility about what are the kind of overs to target and what bowlers you need to go after. And I think that particular shot that he selected, again, the risk playing that shot was a little bit higher. And again, succumbing to Harpreet Brar. So that unfortunately is a trend that continues for Maxwell. There is nothing more that I would love to see than Maxwell bossing some of these left-arm orthodox spinners, definitely at Chinnaswamy, but in other grounds as well, where the tracks turn a little bit. We've seen Maxwell struggling big time at venues like Chennai or Kolkata, just because of the slowness of the wicket and the turn that is on offer there. So I'll be watching with a keen eye how Maxwell does, and as a fan, I'm a big-time Maxwell fan, so there is more reason for me to feel frustrated when he gets out in this way. But hopefully, he can start making an impact to this team as well. Rajat Patidar, again, not the most impressive innings, but with all these wickets falling, the team was definitely in a spot of bother. Virat Kohli there, fighting a lone battle, but he was definitely, taking on the opponents with aggression and stepping down the track to some of these genuine world-class pacers like Kagiso Rabada, Arshdeep Singh, and even someone like a Harshal Patel, who's very deceptive and very good with his variations. He was taking the attack to them, and looked like he was going to single-handedly take the team through, but unfortunately perishing to Harshal Patel. I think it was in the 15th over, I guess. And then Anuj Rawat basically came out and unfortunately didn't have a great outing like he did last time around, struggling to pick up some boundaries here and there, but eventually succumbing right after Kohli departed as well. So at that point, Mahipal Lomror, who was our impact sub, comes in, and man oh man, did he prove his worth as the impact sub. And I think that decision turned out to be a very key one for RCB, having that extra batter in there. Because at the beginning of the game, I'm sitting there thinking, hey, look, our bowling obviously is very questionable, but we should probably look at strengthening our bowling just because of that one reason. And we might not need that extra batter coming in at number 8 to help with the chase when we have such a strong batting lineup, right? But credit to the RCB management team. I think they've come with a specific plan on how they want to approach games at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, and I think Faf kind of alluded to this in the post-match interview as well. I think they're going to look at using pace as their main weapon while bowling at Chinnaswamy, which makes sense because it's not really a track that offers a lot for the spinners, and the boundaries being small doesn't help the spin department either. So I think they're going to try and get the max out of someone like Mayank Dagar and Glenn Maxwell, and with Cameron Green as well. I think between the three of them, they're probably looking to fill that quota of 8 overs, and then they go with their frontline 3 seamers to finish the remaining 12 overs for them. Not a bad tactic if you ask me. I think we've tried spinners over the last several years, and I think barring Yuzvendra Chahal, there hasn't been a single spinner who's really stood out and overperformed for the team, especially at a ground like Chinnaswamy. So I think it makes total sense to me logically that as a bowling unit, they would look at strengthening their pace bowling department, especially early on in the series when the decks have a little bit more bounce and a lot more fizz to offer. Makes a lot of sense to me, and I think that this is a trend that they will want to continue, reserving that extra batter as well. Now, of course, if some of the part-time bowlers do get taken to the cleaner somewhere in between, then you always have an option of pulling out someone like a Yash Dayal, who's hopefully completed 3 overs of his upfront. You can kind of take him out and then bring someone like a Karan Sharma in later in the innings to help provide some variations and options as well. But at least their first line of attack will be to try and make do with all these part-time spinners. And Maxwell has been bowling around the world for a long time now, so I think he should definitely be given a longer run with the ball, and I think there's a lot more responsibility on his shoulders as a bowler to be able to provide some key breakthroughs for the team. So that is very heartening to see as well. But yeah, anyway, coming back to the proceedings of the game, I think having someone like a Mahipal Lomror coming in at number 8 was an absolutely fantastic cushion to have. That added batter proved to be the major difference between the two teams. And at that point, when Lomror came in, I think the team needed 43 runs of 22 balls. Seemed like the match was gone for all practical purposes. Yes, Dinesh Karthik was there, and yes, Mahipal Lomror is a proven batsman. But given the slump that Dinesh Karthik had last year, I think a lot of people would have kind of written him off. Same thing with Mahipal Lomror as well. I don't think a lot of people rate him that highly, especially against fast bowlers. He is effective. He's very effective against spinners, but not a lot of people would have seen him really taking the attack against pace bowlers. But hey, that combination came together and it worked brilliantly well for the team. I think together they ended up putting up 45 runs or whatever in a span of 18 deliveries. So that was absolutely fantastic. Dinesh Karthik just showing his cool, just showing his calmness, and taking the team over the line with some exceptional, stroke making and some exceptional shot selection as well. Picking the right kind of deliveries. I think there was this one slower bouncer that Harshal Patel tried. I think it was off the penultimate over, and Dinesh Karthik was able to, pick it and pull it behind square for a 6. That was a big change in momentum for the team, and with 10 runs needed of the last over, Dinesh Karthik probably made up his mind even before Arshdeep Singh got the ball in his hand for his last over that he was going to ramp him for the first ball, and he executed it brilliantly as well, and then finished it off with a straight 4 over the bowler's head. So very clinical finish from Dinesh Karthik, absolutely wonderful to see. These are the kind of innings and performances that brought some very crucial points for the team a couple of years ago, and I think that was a big reason why RCB was able to make it to the playoffs in 22. So yeah, it's an absolutely great positive sign that Dinesh Karthik is firing and he's slowly getting into his groove, and added to the fact that guys like Anuj Rawat, Mahipal Lomror along with Dinesh Karthik are putting up these performances when the top order has kind of failed twice now in 2 games. Barring Virat Kohli today, obviously, who was there and leading the charge, every other batsman in that top 5 has underperformed in those 2 games. So it is absolutely brilliant and very, very important for RCB to be able to pick up points when that batting order isn't firing. Right, I think when this batting order gets going, they are going to win new games single-handedly. The class of Faf du Plessis, the madness of Maxwell, the sheer skill that Cameron Green has, and even the class that Rajat Patidar has. I think they will all win you games here and there. But when only one of your top five is firing, if the rest of the lower order can still provide enough support to take this team over the line, that is a brilliant sign for the team. And now it's just a matter of hoping that these other big guys come to the party in the next several games, and RCB can register a few more wins. We do have a couple more games to play at home now, so those would be very exciting encounters. But yeah, exceptionally happy with the performance today. It was a little bit nervous towards the end, but hey, what's an IPL game, without some last over drama these days, right? But yeah, 6 games done now in the season so far across all teams, and all 6 games have been won by the home teams. So that is an interesting record. RCB again, doing well at home. Like I mentioned, I think they will want to do very well at home, because away against some of these trickier teams on trickier surfaces, we've seen the RCB batting kind of come undone. So hopefully they will look to capitalize on this pitch and the track that they get at Chinnaswamy, especially with the crowd behind them. I think they will definitely want to capitalize on that and really turn the odds in their favor, and beat that historical record that we have of not winning too many games at Chinnaswamy. I think they'll want to set that right this time, and it's going to be absolutely imperative that they do. Cool. So that, I think, was the summary of the game. Again, very happy with the start, or at least the first points that the team has put on board. Now it's just a matter of taking that momentum forward, and then dealing with teams as and when they come. RCB's next game is going to be against Kolkata Knight Riders. I believe that's on Friday, so that should be an absolute humdinger. I think a lot of the fans at Chinnaswamy will have nightmares about that one particular innings that Andre Russell played several years ago at Chinnaswamy. So guys like Dreras and Rinku Singh visiting for KKR, I think that's going to be an absolutely fantastic game as well. But just to quickly touch upon Virat Kohli's performance, because I think his effort really deserves an additional mention here. The way in which he's taking the attack this time around, I think it bodes very well for the team. If some of the other big batters can come to the party alongside him, I think it'll free him up even more to be ultra aggressive all through his innings. And I think this new version of Virat Kohli that we're seeing, I think that will be absolutely devastating. And again, it is not like he's had to reinvent himself or learn new skills to be able to do this. It's a talent and a skill that he already has. At times, just based on the situation and the team that he's batting with, he's probably had to curb that urge to be a little bit more explosive at the top sometimes. But I think this season, will be his opportunity to just go all out at the top, and hopefully he can fire more often than he does not. And if folks didn't catch his post-match interview when he received the Man of the Match award, take a couple of minutes to watch it. I think it was a brilliant interview. I think the conversation between Harsha Bhogle and Virat Kohli was absolutely fantastic. He's very spot on. The guy has the orange cap temporarily, obviously. Things will change very quickly now over the next few games. But his approach to the game and the way he's looking at things now, I think it's kind of very well summarized by him in that post-match interview. So do take a couple of minutes to watch it. It'll be well worth your time. Alright, so that was the summary and the recap on this game. Very excited as an RCB fan to see us getting some points on the board. Hopefully Bengaluru can keep this momentum going, and we can get some more key wins before we head away on the road. One other key update. So the entire schedule for the IPL 2024 has been officially released. So if folks remember, earlier they had just released the first part of the schedule. I think most teams just knew what their first 4 or 5 matches were going to look like. But now I see BCCI has released the full schedule for all the matches. And I actually, in my video yesterday, I mentioned about the 2 groups that they have made with 5 teams each. So I just wanted to correct something that I had misquoted there. So previously in the last years, what they had done was that if you are in Group A, you would play twice against all the other teams in Group B and once against all the other teams in your own group. But this time around, they've tweaked things a little bit. So you will play twice against every other team in your group, which means you are playing 2 games each against the 4 other teams in your group. So that's 8 games. And amongst the other 5 teams in that other group, you will be playing twice against one of those teams, which is basically picked by random draw. And then you'll be playing once against all the other teams. So 8 games from, playing with people in your own group. Once or 2 games against one particular team in the other group, and then once each against all the other 4 teams in your group. So that leads to a total of 14. So this is a little bit different from what we've done in the past, or what we've seen in the past. But again, it's an exciting format, obviously. For RCB, that means RCB being a part of Group B with CSK, GT, PBKS and SRH. RCB will be playing twice against each of these teams. And amongst the other teams in Group A, RCB will be playing twice against Kolkata Knight Riders. So with all the other teams, which is Delhi Capitals, Lucknow Super Giants, Mumbai Indians and Rajasthan Royals, RCB will just be playing 1 game apiece. Alright, so that was a key update, and with the full schedule being released, now we know when exactly RCB is going to be playing all their other matches as well. The last game of the league stage will be Chennai Super Kings visiting Bengaluru, so that should be an exciting cracker of a contest as well. So that is happening on the 18th of May. So that will be a very, very interesting game to watch, especially depending on how the teams have been doing so far or up to that point. That might be an extremely important match for both teams in the context of qualification as well. So we'll keep our eyes on that one. Absolute crackerjack of a game to end the league phase for both the teams there. Also, very quickly, the dates for the playoffs have been announced as well, along with the venues. So Chennai will be hosting the finals this time around on the 26th of May, along with the second qualifier that will happen a couple of days before that. And the first qualifier and the eliminator will be held at Ahmedabad on May 21st and 22nd respectively. So that is something that's going to be exciting as well. Chennai hosting the finals for the first time in 12 years. I think they hosted the finals back in 2011 and again in 2012. But then after that, they've not had a chance to host the finals. Dhoni has always hinted at wanting Chennai to be his final stage or venue where he can say goodbye to this to his fans and to his cricketing career. Is it written in the stars? Only time will tell. But Chennai Super Kings are off to a great start, which takes me to their next game, which is happening tomorrow between Chennai Super Kings and Gujarat Titans. Gujarat are visiting Chennai. The clash of the 2 brand new captains in this format. So it'll be exciting to see the contest between Ruturaj and Shubman Gill. Definitely an exciting encounter awaits us. So we'll see how that game goes. But hey, that's a sum up of all the excitement from today's match. RCB's on the board again. Super happy about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Shravan with Willow and Leather. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.